done anything like this, like ever. So
What, really?
I've done this. I've tried this once with someone. Um, there, there was that interview I showed you. I think they were like,
Yes.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. I watched it. I didn't watch all of it, but I watched it.
Yeah, so what I did was I live streamed their stream and it's both on YouTube and Twitch right now, and
Mm-hmm.
now we're live on here. So your platform, you really talk about mental health, and you talk about you really open about your being visible with your scar, because I think you really advocate people with a lot of that medical condition with scars. And I have to say, you actually almost look like the girl from Ready Player One. That that who's that guy? I forget that character's name, but it was from Ohio. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
So it was from
Yeah, I've heard that before.
the that you look like that girl from Ready Player One.
Yeah.
I really like Ready Player One because it's set in Ohio, and I really love how, I would have. The reason I asked you if you were a video gamer is because everyone's been going on video gaming now, because thanks to the COVID vaccine and this whole pandemic, you can't really go anywhere. Do you know what I mean? I mean, there were people that.
Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, I mean, where I've been going out, like there's no lockdown really where I am, so it's been affecting me differently. Like before COVID, I feel like I went out less. And then after COVID, there was kind of just like this explosion of like, oh, I need to go out and do stuff. I haven't gotten sick and I've been safe, but that's just like what I've been going through.
But
It's
all
like
you can do
going
is just
out.
wear a mask, and I think
Exactly. Yeah.
that's the big takeaway is. And so many people. There was one even in Cleveland, Ohio, of an incident. There's been incidents of people not wearing a mask, not being safe, and it's kind of weird, where we don't see anybody wearing masks or people who are scared. So how have you coped with, or what's your opinion on that?
Well, I know from personal experience that there's a lot of fear surrounding what's going on. And in my case, like for the first probably 6 months or so when COVID hit, I was so scared to leave the house, like so scared.
I
Like,
could not leave. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I was just.
no, go for it.
My case manager looked at me and said, Corey, you have not gone in this house, and I see you, and I was like shaking. I felt like I couldn't go anywhere, but thanks to video gaming, I grew up being sick a lot. My mom told me I missed like 44 days of school each year. So I've had a very closed world. So it's given me that space or that experience to be closed from the world and just open through that video game world and just go out and socialize. It's given me like, that's why I asked if you video game, because so many people are going on video gaming. There was a couple. I'll tell you this story. in the beginning of the pandemic, my mom and I remember when you were scavenging around for food because there were so many people buying shit. Like it was crazy in the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So my mom and I, we just went out and during that time, and I saw this couple, these two people, uh, putting a Nintendo Switch in, and they were like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, you got the new Nintendo Switch? Cool, I got a Nintendo Switch." And they said, and guess what they told me?
What?
Oh yeah, thanks to the pandemic, we don't know what else to do. We're locked in our house. We need socializing. And I was like, I'm the same thing. I can't go anywhere. And during that pandemic, I was playing
Wait a
Borderlands.
second. Sorry. Give me a sec.
It's okay.
I'm losing sound here.
Oh, sorry.
By Indian sadhus and mending
Wait,
disease,
sorry.
they're
Sad
constantly
Guru
trapped.
is playing for some reason in the
One-
background here. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Oh wait, now you're muted. Hope you're not muted.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. For some reason, my headphones stopped working. So as long as you can. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
So, where did I stop for you?
You were telling me the story about the Nintendo Switch, and then you were getting to like we don't have anything to do, so we need to play video games, like for socializing.
Yeah, and I was playing Borderlands 3 because it felt like that world that we were living in. The craziness of people going crazy. Do you know what Borderlands is?
Yeah, I've played it for like a second, but I haven't played the whole thing through.
The third one? The third one you
I
can
haven't
relate.
played any of them really. I don't know which one I played.
Well, the third one is very relatable to social media because so many people have gotten crazy with being on the pandemic and all that shit. Like, what I can relate to that with what's going on now, there was this cult that came up. I don't know if you heard of it. My mom was
Which one?
My mom was telling me about it. It was. Give me a second. And they were patronizing the China and how this flu, and they were even part of the Capitol attack that happened. Quainan, the Quainan.
Yeah, I know a little about that.
Yeah, so they were like all making money and profit out of the cult and out of their beliefs, and it's just so scary that people can do this and are able to do this. It's kind of sad that we have gotten to that point where we're just all going crazy, and that's kind of what Borderlands for me looked like. It looked like we were going into the prequel of Borderlands, that desert place, and people were scavenging food just like in the real world. And that's kind of why I played Borderlands 3. So have you done anything or had that same thing where you're playing something or you're doing something to help cope with what was in the real world, like me, with video gaming?
Yeah, definitely. Not so much anymore, but like I grew up playing World of Warcraft and like Zoo Tycoon and Roller Coaster Tycoon and just like making stuff. And like I loved PC games. Like I was all about PC games because because what I've got is Sturge Weber syndrome, and I have like the port wine stain that comes like all the way to the back of my head. So that like being like physically a little bit different. I know I for sure got stares. It for sure made me feel like isolated and super different. So I kind of like, I definitely like delved into the video games because it was so cool and I could make badass shit, you know, and like it was fun for me. I felt a connection to that. So yeah, I get the
I
video
can
game.
relate because I grew up with being sick a lot. I I felt so close, and I was video gaming. I used to be on the computer a lot too. So the computer really helped me going through what I was feeling. You know, expressing whatever video game. I even played Pirates of the Caribbean. There was that online Pirates of the Caribbean. I love that game.
I never played it, but it sounds fun.
Yeah, you actually were in the world of the Pirates of the Caribbean, and you had to create your own character and ship sails. I also played Club Penguin. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, way back when I was a kid, my cousins would play it. It was super fun. So so for your advocating, what have you done to make a difference even through this pandemic? Like, what have you?
Well, really, my advocacy is not yet exactly mental health. It's my advocacy is mostly or has mostly been up to this point for animal rights.
Oh, I did hear
Because I'm
about that.
Yeah, so that's kind of like what I've done during the pandemic is I've done a lot of research into like pet breeding facilities and the way animals are kept and how like keeping animals relates to the like COVID-19 virus. So that's where I try to make a difference like when I go out and I'll do like speak outs or demonstrations where I like have one-on-one conversations with passerbys. And I feel like the whole animal rights thing really does like transcend into human health and mental health. So I mean, my platform isn't established yet. It's just kind of like
Beginning.
yeah, it's just beginning. So
I don't know if you watch enough of my YouTube videos, but I think it was last month. Yeah, last month, or even 2 months ago. I was advocating for people having an animal. There was a teacher who I'm giving a shout out to on this interview. His name was Dave Ziggy. That's also his stage name. And his podcast is Ziggy at the Gang. Yeah, Gig at the Zig.
yeah, I did watch a video you posted about that. I was gonna ask you what is Ziggy, who is Ziggy, but you just answered.
Yeah, it's a teacher he's a musician who helps people with um basically what I got, medical conditions and all that, people with special needs. There was a little boy um who wanted a specific animal, a dog, to cope with his, autism. Um and his teacher, I don't know what it was, but I think his teacher he warmed up to his teacher's heart so much so that he actually was willing to say, okay, you want a dog? Now, for some people, it's completely cheap, but to have a specific dog for a specific need for a child, it's a lot of money. So I advocated the hell out of that because I understood. I had a dog that helped me cope with my social anxiety, helped cope with me being home a lot. It gave me someone to be around. So I understood that and sympathized, and when David Ziggy interviewed me, I just loved how he spoke to me. He treated me like a person, and there were times where I felt like I was being, a little socially awkward, having social anxiety, but he was just so into it. He was not, I don't know if I want to say mean, but like a little off, like whatever. He was just in with it. So I really loved how he was doing for that little boy, and I understood what it meant to have a dog. So to hear what he did for me, to hear what he's doing for this boy, I just felt so advocating to help. And plus, so much so, I was in his virtual live stream for the boy. There was a long. There was a week long virtual concert that he did. Like every day, he would have a specific different singer would play on this stage. It was at, I think, Beachland, Cleveland, I think. And I was one of the people that I asked him, I wish I could do it, and he said, dude, I could set you up like for a 15-minute thing in between these two people. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. So huh?
What was the 15-minute thing? Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so the 15-minute, that's how long my open was, 15 minutes. And that was perfect because that's how long my video was, and I love doing, now thanks to this pandemic, I've grown to the love of, doing my puppets. I think you saw one of them. I'm sorry if it creeped any of you out. But I do a puppet. My mom bought it for me. She thought of it because she noticed how much I loved the live action Goosebumps. So I just, whenever I felt anxiety and whenever I felt anxious or wanted to talk to somebody, I would just pull out the doll. If no one answered any of my phone calls, because that was also the problem, is so many people have been so close from the world that they closed off from other people, and that's how I felt. Like, people I've tried to reach out closed off to me, so I'm like, okay, screw them. Even in my own family, my own friends, it really dug a core into my mental health damage. And so I just got a doll, gave myself someone to talk to, and just helped me cope with it so well. Well, so that was the stage act, was me 15 minutes live on a virtual concert, my very own first concert, and it went great. And David Ziggy, I think it was a week later, or 3 to 2 days later, he texted me and said, Corey, Diego told me how much he loved your podcast, your set. He loved your performance, dude. And that was Diego was the boy who had autism who he was giving the dog to.
Nice.
And it really warmed my heart because I was so nervous that whole time. I was like, but I kept myself calm the whole time. It was thankfully very calm and quiet. So it was good, I'm thankful, but sadly the concert didn't do enough. So that's why if you saw one of my videos, I did I used a limited time mode, that's what they're called, event called Mando's Bounty, and it's based on the Disney Plus series Mandalorian because it's so huge. Fortnite created this LTM for us to collect money, collect bounties, collect gold, and I used it as I guess you could say a little skit to the reference of collecting money for Diego. So so during that whole LTM, I just live streamed and make sure I put the links in the description and talk about putting money in there. And I really and when Diego finally got his dog, which he did after a art performance, there was like an art gallery, a virtual art gallery to sell paintings that this place called Negative Space. I've actually met the guy. He's a very awesome dude. His name is Gotti. He has a his name is Gotti, and he has this art place in Cleveland called Negative Space, and I went there for art, not just art, but for a live performance. Musician, and it was so cool having that. So that's how the boy got his dog. Is a lot of people from the community chipped in, and that was really amazing that he finally got his dog. And so that was how I helped. That was what I did for the So what other questions do you have for me?
Well, let's see. I guess for me, I feel like I was a really late bloomer, and I'm only now getting to really know who I am and stepping out into my advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that it was were you doing advocacy before COVID, or was this just an inspired action?
I think it started as an inspired action. Because me being born with 24 surgeries, I was basically a Frankenstein monster, and that's why I always thought, laughing at myself, because I went through a lot of medical stuff, and when I tried doing a anti-bullying club, it was hard. I didn't have a lot of YouTubing to begin with. I just was on the stage. It happened actually when I started my YouTube channel. Is that what you're asking?
When your YouTube channel.
So my YouTube channel started. I don't know if you like her anymore. With Ellen DeGeneres.
If I like her anymore.
Yeah, because that whole case opened up.
Well, I don't know exactly what case you're talking about, but I know that Ellen's got some stuff.
I've heard that there were some co-workers who used to work there came out. That kind of made the whole show controversial. I don't know if you heard of it, but it got really bad to a point. Some people aren't even liking her anymore. So that's kind of what why I was asking if you like her anymore, because it's gotten to a blowing point where people don't like her at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I ever really liked her to begin with. I mean, she wasn't like my favorite person, so I
But
mean, she did cool stuff, that's for sure.
oh yeah,
Um,
and I did, and I was inspired by this one girl who was on the show. I forget her name, but she had cancer, and she was doing YouTube, and that was really sparking my brain. YouTube, I could do this. I can just do it from my house, and that's how it all started. Was me being on, center stage, in front of my house, just straight from my house, and just talk about whatever the hell is on my mind. I express how I feel, and then once I opened up into social media on Twitter, I started realizing, oh my gosh, there's other people on here that are doing the same exact thing, and I feel like I'm going to do more, and so that's why I do Dreamer Heroes. That category, it was a year, I think it was a couple months later, I got into that, where I talked about people on social media. I would post their links down in the description. I would post all their stuff down, talk about them, how I think they can do, how they're making a difference, why are they doing it. So that was my whole, thing. And then once I heard PS4, you were able to create videos. Because I'm a huge video gamer, of course I'm doing videos, but I did videos that were a message about bullying, about whatever, and I just took whatever I could see from a video game, and if I could see it as a message towards something, I'll just edit the video and post it, and now I'm doing it. Now, the first couple were like 5 minutes, that's how long they had it when PS4 came out and did the whole share button thing. But thanks to updates, it's made it more available to do it longer. Longer videos, and I started doing live streams because, again, it helps me open up, get out, do something for not just for me, my platform, but for myself to feel like I'm socializing more. Because I felt so close in the beginning of COVID that I was going nuts. I mean, I was stuck in my house at my mom. I was stuck in my mom's house for 3 months before I moved to my new house, and it was a good adjustment. The guys I live with now are very nice. They're very sweet. I do. Yeah. I'm just settling in my new home. I got the sad, and one of the reasons I did ventriloquism was also to get myself into a job. So I'm trying to make my ventriloquism. You ever heard of Jeff Dunham?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like him. So I did a live stream. That's how I did it, and I thought, okay, maybe that's how I can cope with what's going on in the world with COVID.
Yeah.
Is just say, hey, look, I don't have anybody to talk to. I mean, I lost friends. I felt like I lost everything. And some of my family members, I don't even want to know, or I don't even recognize anymore. Because of COVID, I felt so lonely. So, how are you with you and COVID? Like, how has it affected you negatively? Has it affected you positively? Because the only positive thing I've done is, from COVID, is ventriloquism and playing Fortnite. I never liked Fortnite, but then when COVID happened, I was like, screw it. My mom even told me, Corey, what's going on with the world? Just screw it and do it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
I don't know if she said it exactly like that, but she was like,
Like,
at
just do
least
it.
you, at least you're getting out. At least you're doing something,
Yes.
socializing. I have over 200 followers and friends on Fortnite. I've been connected with some
Yeah.
Twitch streamers. I'm now on Twitch because thanks to this Streamlabs, I can be able to do it on Twitch
Yeah.
and YouTube at the same time. So I wanted that feeling of, and the reason I got Streamlabs was because I wanted that feeling of me being on a stage, me performing in front of people, and that's why I do my ventriloquism on Streamlabs, because I want to have that same thing Jeff Dunham has.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm now that's why I've gotten into ventriloquism. It's helped me give someone to talk to. And
Yeah.
instead
It
of,
sounds like you're doing a lot. Like you're doing a lot of stuff.
yeah, I'm even getting myself into podcast radio interviews because I want people to talk to.
Yeah.
Because during that pandemic, you're so close, you're losing it. I've had episodes. It's gotten that bad, so now I'm like, okay, I gotta do something to get myself out, and that's why I'm reaching out to podcasts, because it helps me talk to someone. It helps me give someone to talk to, and helps me do something during this craziness. I mean,
You're so right. And it's like that's part of like this might sound like super like hippy dippy, but that's like a spiritual journey, like actually stepping into yourself and like speaking your truth and like just being yourself, putting yourself out there. That's what COVID has done for me. Like I've really just like put myself out there and like I'm working on my music and like a lot of writing and then like doing the social media thing. Like I've never done that before, but it just feels like it's so expansive. And you're so inspiring, like with everything that you're doing, and just like going like head first, and yeah, really cool. It inspires me to like do the same, like just talk to people and connect.
that's kind of what YouTube has done for me, and that's why I did YouTube, because I wanted to not only connect, I wanted to speak out.
Mm.
I wanted to give myself a chance to say, hey, this is whatever, I wanted to be a motivator, I guess. That's why I've motivated myself to be motivational on YouTube and
Yeah.
grow more. And so, yeah, that's why I'm on doing this whole YouTube thing was the beginning, and now with COVID, I'm doing more because I can't go anywhere without wearing a mask, and wearing a mask is sometimes hard because I have asthma. I
Mm.
have asthma, so it sometimes gives me harder to breathe. Sometimes my mom have left places and we're like, I can breathe now.
God, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere. I mean, that's what video gaming has done, is give me somewhere to go, places to go, and the reason I'm putting out clothes is because when I was playing video games, even way back then, I felt like I was going places. It gave me, like, I want to someday explore the world, I want to someday go places, but I'm not, because I'm not rich, I'm not whatever. I'm just on YouTube, I'm making somewhat of money. I used to have a job. My job collapsed way before the COVID pandemic. Actually, it collapsed half a year ago when the COVID pandemic hit.
Yeah.
I lost my job due to I quit my job because of a case that opened up against a client, and then it got spiraled out of control where people were leaving, people were quitting, and it just got to a point where I can't go there. And my mom was okay with it, and now I'm just on here. So I really want to have a job, and that's why I've gotten into ventriloquism, was to get myself to talk to. And I'm like, you know what? Jeff Dunham makes money out of this, like crazy money out of this, and so does Darcy Lynn. You ever heard of Darcy Lynn?
Mm-mm.
Oh, really? You don't watch America's Got Talent?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, she has a bunny, and it got so good that one of the judges just automatically, once she got to speak, she hit the golden buzzer, and she's now Darcy Lynn is like she now has her Nickelodeon show.
Whoa.
Not
That's
well, she's not hosting it, but she's part of a Nickelodeon.
okay. Like she's producing a show or something?
Huh?
Like, is she producing a show or did she?
No. She's performing it. She's part of the cast.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's like all virtual because thanks to COVID, I think she's doing it from her house. Like I'm doing it from my house.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of stuff's being done at home. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people. Even there was, you ever heard of that movie, Raya and the Last Dragon?
No.
It's a new Disney movie.
Wow.
South Asian. The girl, I just recently watched a video, and she said, thanks to COVID, I'm now doing it straight from my home. It's crazy. She's
Yeah.
actually playing the voices in her own house. And it was crazy to do it because sometimes there would be internet connections, there would be whatever. Um, I don't know if I'm going to watch that because thanks to. I don't know, I've never really been into Asian Disney movies. And also
Not
Princess. Crap.
What? So are you saying you don't like Mulan?
Princess stuff has never really been in my forte.
No princess stuff at all? Not even Pocahontas? Mulan's not a princess.
Wait,
She's a freaking warrior.
I like, what, Moana. The Hawaiian.
Yeah, Moana. I know.
That was a great movie, and so that was my only, I guess, Disney princess movie that I really liked. Yeah, I haven't really gotten into anything else princessy or anything. I have started watching Once Upon a Time
Yeah, I like
TV
that.
series. Have you started watching it because it was on Disney Plus, or was it
No,
like?
I saw it when it first came out. I saw like the first 3 seasons. And then after the third season, I was like, no, I'm good. I don't need to watch this anymore.
Why? I heard it was repeating stuff or whatever.
I don't know. It's just like I feel like the story kind of got a little bit cheap because they started throwing in so many other fairy tale characters that it was just kind of like overwhelming and not entertaining for me. But that's just me.
Yeah, that's kind of how people were I would have probably still loved watching it. I'm still probably gonna watch it, but I watch shows now. Like, what do you binge now? Because a lot of people are binge watching stuff like crazy. Like my mom even watched Hell on Wheels. I never would have thought she would be on that show.
What is that about?
It's a Western show. Um, it was on AMC, I think.
Hmm.
Anyway, she got into it until it got bloody. Because it was Western.
Yeah.
But yeah, binge watching is now like the only thing that coped. And some people have told me, oh, I'm not going to get Disney Plus. Oh, I don't have Netflix. And now they are having it because they have nothing else to do.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't watch TV. Like, I the last show I binged was like that one show on Netflix about like the haunted house where like
oh, the haunting of
the auteur comes. Bly Manor or something.
I really liked that one.
Yeah, I watched that in like I don't know, like 5 days. But even still, like I can get really busy, like because what's super important to me is like my spiritual practice. So like practicing yoga and meditation and like being outdoors and like that's important to me. And I don't always keep it up, but it's like that's what I would do if I were bored, like instead of watching a movie, I might like practice yoga or just meditate or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I was playing a lot of World of Warcraft when the pandemic first started. But then I think I might have also replayed Fallout 4 or maybe it was no, it was Fallout 3. So I replayed Fallout 3 and I just like binged on that and played it for hours and hours. But not right now. Like right now I'm pretty good. I just got a lot of stuff going on in my head. Yeah.
So you're a singer?
Yeah, I love to sing.
Yeah, I have another friend who her name is Aria. She lives way down in California. She's also doing her getting her music out because of COVID. I write so many hours. I even wrote last night. But it also depends on how long I read. So or how much I read. So like if I read a short while, then I'll write like a short little bit. I started writing a story based on all my old schoolmates because thanks to the pandemic, I have reconnected with people. I used to be on Facebook thanks to the pandemic.
Yeah.
But I'm not on Facebook anymore because I don't know, there was this movie called The Social Network.
Yeah, I heard of it.
And it was just how this guy did it was messed up. I mean, I've heard also things that it was used to spy on people, and there were other documentaries about Facebook. But I connected with other schoolmates that still are like, "Hey, Corey, how's it going? How you been?" And I don't know if you have watched all my videos, but there were times where this guy named Broken Wild. That's actually my old high school mate Eddie. From I think we've known each other since middle school or pre-K, whatever. And he's a Twitch streamer also. I started doing Twitch streaming. I never got into Twitch streaming. I thought it was a stupid thing that people would just throw their money away. It was it wasn't a job, but I think in a way it gave people like me and you maybe something where people can, performers can give us money, because I perform my ventriloquism on there. And I'm trying to be a motivational speaker, so in a way, I'm trying to give myself a small part-time job, something like that during this whole pandemic. I can't, I'm still connecting with my writer, my editor to get my stuff out, my publishing out. I just recently just last year we worked on saying, hey, let's get my stuff out. And I think right now was the perfect time during 2020, because during that whole Avengers movies, everyone was about them. So I think it would have not been a good idea to open my stuff out then. Because everyone was talking about the Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. That was a heavy movie. Those two were very heavy movies. Do you like Marvel movies and stuff, or no?
I mean, I like the idea of Marvel movies, and I do like them when I watch them, but I'm not really like exactly a movie fan. Like, that's not my first choice of activity to watch a movie. But I like the Avengers that I've seen, and I like Marvel movies like when I watch them.
What Avengers are you referring to?
I don't know. I honestly don't remember the name of the Avengers movie.
Oh. But that was why. That's why I'm glad, I reached out to him and said, hey, let's work on getting my stuff published right now, because once these movies are done, there will be an opening for my stuff to be published out, and I'm now working on, and during that whole time, that whole movie, Trauma, I actually finished a couple of my series.
Nice.
Like 5 of them in one huge event.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, and you ever went to Salem, Massachusetts?
Nope, not yet.
I have.
Lucky, I'm so jealous.
It was awesome. I loved. Are you a fan of Halloween Town?
Yeah, you mean oh, there's a lizard. You mean the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah, I love Halloween Town.
You go there to Salem, Massachusetts, and you feel like you're in that Disney movie. I felt like, but it's darker than the Halloween Town movie. Because, there's the Salem witch trials, there was
a lot of stuff.
There was even a place that I went to. I didn't go in it, because you weren't allowed to go in it, but are you a fan of Hocus Pocus?
Yeah.
I went to the place where they filmed a scene in Hocus Pocus. And the disappointing part was you couldn't go in it.
Right, yeah.
That was the only disappointing part. You couldn't go in it because it actually was a government. And we actually, what was funny when we went to Massachusetts, when we went to Salem? A week before we got there, because we were doing a huge road trip, my mom and I, a week before we got there, or not a week, but a couple of days before we got there, ghost hunters, ghost adventures, a whole bunch of ghost hunters were there for a live stream. I was like, holy shit, in a day I'm gonna miss them. Like, I loved Ghost Adventures. I'm a huge paranormal believer, even though I don't seem like it. I'm a huge paranormal believer. I love UFOs. I love ghosts. I've incorporated all my paranormal beliefs in my stories. like I believe that in some way magic and science are one and the same thing. Um, kind of like how Thor drew that map where he told his ex, because now Jane Foster is his ex. Told him where I come from, science and magic are one and the same thing. Well, that's kind of what I've always believed, and so I've incorporated that into my stories. That idea. And I actually wrote my stories where the villains come first, and then the heroes come out, not the other way around.
I like it.
Because it's always been that way, heroes are out, and wait, is this still working? Yeah, it's still live. Okay, I wanted to make sure if it was live because I saw that thing on you. I saw like an email thing. So yeah, that's kind of what was my version. Was I always believed that hatred and villains came first instead of the heroes.
Yeah.
So, and if you think about it, that's kind of how it's been for HRC. HRC didn't come out until, Human Rights Committee. Do you know who that is? It's an LGBTQ platform. Oh, well, my uncles are advocates on there. They're actually very famous, ironically. And so, and cyberbullying didn't be aware until it happened, so I've incorporated that idea of cyberbullies coming out and then the hero comes out.
Yeah.
So I've written it in a way to make it seem like the problems that, and I made the villains more sympathetic. Like the problem with Marvel villains is that there's been a problem with Marvel villains where people don't like the villains because they did not adjust them right. They didn't explain why the things they're doing exactly. Didn't give them a backstory, whatever. So I'm doing the exact opposite, where I am making sure that I make even the most racist or homophobic or transphobic whatever villain, you understand where he or she or the cult they are coming out are coming from. And that's kind of how I wrote the villains, and then the hero sees this, or this group sees it, and they are like, okay, we need to do something. I even based my heroes from historical premises. So, remember Harvey Milk?
Yeah.
So, my one of my heroes actually starts becoming a hero once he's one, or actually it was a galactic superhero story. They notice that he's murdered. They form their own LGBTQ squad to go out and fight other homophobic thing once Harvey Milk is announced that he's murdered and whatnot. So I kind of transitioned that also. I also transitioned a lot of my stories from historical facts and even mythological facts. Like there's even you ever heard of Luca? It's a new Disney movie. It got teased earlier. It's set in Italy, which is one of my family histories is or heritage is being Italian. So there is myths of legendary beasts, of sea creatures that fought people in the Italian ships because they were murdering and pillaging. So I incorporated that into stories. And and if you think, okay, the planets he's creating are fake, they're not fake. They're based on actual planets. I even wrote down the exact name and coordinates and dates on them. I even put based on so and so that reader or writer can notice, okay, this is not a fake thing. This is actually real. And I think the more real you put your story, when you're writing a story about awarenesses and causes, the more attention it gives and the more it not only grabs but really authenticates what is going on. Like I even noticed that there was racism problems going on in Ohio, and I wrote it based around the stuff. And I wrote, I even wrote a character based on a friend who came from foster care. He told me his story, and I based all of his experiences from before he got into foster care into this character, and put her in a position, and it is actually a she because of Shazam. You ever heard of the Shazam movie? Because that's based on a foster kid.
I didn't know that, but I've heard of Shazam.
Yeah, it's a really cute movie. I highly. And are you a huge Christmas fan? Like Christmas movie lover?
I mean, I watched more Christmas movies this year than any other year. So, I mean, 2020, I watched a lot of Christmas movies.
Yeah, no kidding. Me too. But the reason why I brought that up is because Shazam was a Christmas themed movie. It actually was a really cute movie. I loved it. Actually, it's way better than Iron Man 3. I wasn't really impressed with Iron Man 3. But, I liked how authentic, but you see where I'm coming from. So that's why I made my character a she for foster kids, because there's Shazam, who represents foster care, and people who come from that background, and then there's my character, and it's all outer space. A lot of my stories are based on outer space because there's so much that we don't know in the universe, and there's so much planets and beautiful layers of planets and galaxies that I thought, okay, if I love intergalactic stuff, maybe I should make my stories based on that and incorporate a lot of real issues in these settings and storylines and characters, and make sure that in a different way the villain shows up and the hero comes first, because that's how I think it's always been. So yeah.
You mean the reverse, right? The villain comes first and then the hero
follows. Right. Yeah, the villains come out to play, and then the hero comes out and says, no, this isn't wrong. But there's a sympathetic reasoning where you see the villains actually not think that they're doing wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I see it as we're all from this world. So if we become villains, it's like there's probably cause for that. If we become heroes, there's cause for that. So yeah, like, how do you know when you're being good? How do you know when you're being bad, or good and bad?
Yeah, two sides, same coin. So that's kind of what Two-Face represents. The villain Two-Face.
Yeah.
So my villains, come from a sympathetic background, and they believe what they're doing is right. and so do the heroes. So it's kind of like an argument they're having.
Wow.
And you don't really know who's the villain, who's the hero. Sometimes you just see them as people who are just arguing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Ja.
Yeah, so that's what I have to say about me, and I'm writing now, and I'm still writing like I'm not like I'm writing then, because I've lost my lingo. Thanks to this whole COVID pandemic, I've not gotten out. That's kind of what has messed up me during the COVID. Is also my writing has gone sloppy. So I hope to, in 2021, refurbished my writing. You know, because I've lost it so badly. Because I was stuck in the house a lot, and I've only gotten my thing out good, going out. You know, seeing people moving to places, not moving, but going to places, and I've taken a lot of that inspiration and delve it into my characters, my stories, what I've seen. But thanks to 2020 being locked down and me being scared of the COVID pandemic, I could not go anywhere. And thanks to COVID, I got COVID very easily. My mom's boyfriend met a friend who stupidly did not social distance, got COVID, and then he got it from Gino. And that's how easily this virus is getting to people.
Yeah. Well, you guys are all okay, right?
Yeah, we're all fine now, but Christmas was shitty, and so was Thanksgiving.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, and that just brings me to a point about like how important it is to do our best to take care of the immune system, the physical body with the food we eat, you know? That's why I advocate so much for veganism and plant-based diets, because if you're eating a diet that's high in immune boosting plant foods and you're eating your antioxidants and you're getting your vitamins and minerals, it's no guarantee you're not going to contract virus or dis-ease in the body, but it's something that isn't really normalized to a point where people realize the importance of the food. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my outlook. Like, not saying that people who are vegan are like bulletproof at all. I'm just saying it's just one more reason that we got to really like boost the immune system in a natural way. You know what I'm saying? And also not like just this whole COVID thing. Like, if we think about it, if we track it back, it's because we pack animals one on top of another and they spread disease.
And you know, that's how, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting you, but that's one of the reasons we got the virus, was because there was a Chinese woman who was abusive to animals, I think, or wasn't a good pet owner. Or she went to a pet store and she caught a bat, and that bat bit her, and that's how COVID started. And
yeah,
her pet shop was terrible.
Well,
I saw pictures.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, that's some of my research. I do research into these breeding facilities. They're here in America too. Only difference is the species of animal.
Mm-hmm.
Factory farming, same thing. Pet stores, same thing. Wet markets in China, same thing. Animals are packed together, not supposed to be there. I mean, they can bite you, they can bite each other, they do. These animals like tear, like I won't get into it because it's kind of triggering, but it's like, yeah, we really got to consider, like, while we're considering our own mental health and emotional health, I feel we really have to consider like the mental and emotional well-being of the animals, because I mean, we keep doing this stuff to them and disease is going to keep spreading. So that's my ultimate message. Like, just stop hurting animals.
Yeah, really stop being abusive. I mean, it's just insane with what's going on, and that was how easily we got COVID. And I really hope that once this whole COVID thing calms down, that China or whatever says, okay, this happened so easily. What can we do to prevent what happened then to what we can do now?
Yeah, totally. And it like, yeah, China, but also the United States, like, because we do the same things to animals.
Oh,
I don't
no
know
kidding.
because there's a
Yeah.
lawnmower.
Oh, there's a lawnmower? I thought it was a motorcycle.
Oh, no, it's a lawnmower. I mean, yeah, it's a motorcycle. Vroom vroom.
Yeah, but I agree with you. Yeah, there were animals being abused. I remember. I think one of my former friends, Shelby Olive, did a benefit concert for abusive animals.
That's a little better.
Yeah.
Hi, kitty. Come here, kitty.
Yeah, you got a kitty?
Yeah, there's a kitty here. And a doggy. Hi, doggy. Okay. But yes, animals are so awesome. I love them.
Yeah, I wish I could have one, but thanks to I live in a home for people who have mental health and anxiety issues, so I can't have pets.
What about a fish? No fish?
I don't know.
No fish. Well, that's okay. I mean, but hey, get down. Get down. No. Well, he's just gonna. Yeah, like animals really are super healing. So I hope that one day you can like have an animal companion because they're great. I totally get it.
Yeah, like my dog Ranger really helped me through my issues.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, um, so that's what I've been doing on my channel is doing mental health and talk about people with and talk about social media thanks to this whole pandemic, and also expand my horizons being on YouTube and use it more, and it's really helped me get out, you know, from this whole pandemic, being closed. It was very hard. And COVID is not something funny. It's really bad. It was. If you can imagine having the flu plus pneumonia, that's how it felt.
Mm.
It was terrible. I even missed a radio podcast, which I don't know if they're gonna have me anymore because I don't know. But it was really quite an experience and really not a good Christmas because yeah I mean I don't know why people didn't pay attention to not being together, but my family and we were distant. We gave each other food. We had like a huge food bank thing going on where we had food delivered to our house. Um, so that's what COVID has been. And my dad got it because he would walk in and deliver food and that. So it's not funny getting COVID, and it's not pretty either. Have you like this. It was just so terrible. I feel even more distant from my family than I was now. I can't wrap my mind around how my family and my friends could like just ghost me like that. Like I would call them, say, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, "Hey, it's Corey. What's going on?" And it was nothing. So that's why I've gotten to social media, and that's why I'm doing ventriloquism to help get and also give myself a job because I lost my job like a year ago, and that was terrible. And that was even before COVID. But it was a good, well-paid job. But sadly, I need to move forward with maybe possibly using my YouTube and using me trying to be a motivational speaker to get a somewhat of a part-time job. Not a full-time, but a small part-time, out in the streets, people showing money, I don't know, but in a virtual way.
Yeah.
It really helped get me something to, even when I was playing video games, I would play video games based on what was going on in the world and based on, like right now I'm playing the Avengers video game, and that's because it's National Women's History Month, and so there's Kamala Khan being the main character, Miss Marvel, and I do a lot of my stories based on awarenesses and causes and do them based on which month or what. Like, I think April is Autism Awareness Month, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so I will definitely do stories based around that, do stories that I did based around that. So I would do volume after volume, try to make them cross over, like any superhero story, crossover, have Easter eggs, because I think a lot of the issues that we have with the awarenesses and causes, they link. They intertwine. Like sometimes some people are doing drugs because they're getting cyberbullied or they feel like they're stuck. Some people are cyberbullying because they're going through child abuse. Some people are, I mean, it's crazy how people are not seeing it, and that's kind of what that's what my story, that's why I did superheroes, because I saw a pattern, how to link it like any superhero story or novel would do, like DC and Marvel has done. I mean, if you read the comics, there's even small little inkants like saying this so and so is saying and referencing from Captain Marvel issue or volume number 2 or something. And that's kind of what I'm doing, and that's why I love superhero stories and why I'm writing superhero stories, because I see some of the issues that we have going on. It's all intertwined from cause and effect.
I totally agree.
Okay.
I love it. So what, like, where can we like read your stories and stuff?
Well, like I said, I just connected with my editor, so I'm betting he's working on editing them now. If you want to read somewhat of my stories, I that's why I do gameplay stories, because I like doing, I guess, in my way, fan fiction storytelling. It's pretty cool. I try to interlink some stories and some video gaming clips that I created for myself and intertwine into a message of storytelling.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Yeah. This has been super great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're inspiring me for sure. Oopsies. everything that we've been talking about, you've been sharing. So yeah, thanks for like letting me come on here.
Yeah, it was. Are you recording too?
No, I didn't record, but I'm
Oh,
going to
okay.
like as I continue, like this is the first time I've done just an on the spot kind of, oh hey, let's connect and let's talk about stuff. So this is my first time. I'm getting to know the whole streaming thing.
Yeah, it's once you get the hang of it, it's real. It really is. You're grabbing people's attention because you are reaching out. You are saying something. I guess I don't know if I'm making any sense.
No, you are. Yeah, you're making total sense. I get it.
Okay, yeah, so that's why I did Streamlabs because I'm actually um, on and still streaming. I've been, I guess I've been on for like an hour or so.
Yeah, a little more than an hour, I think.
Okay, well, I'm sorry if you didn't like try it yourself. That's why I kind of sent it to you. I don't know if you wanted to try, but it's really great to just talk and write stories, or just do whatever you feel is passionate and go for it and try to make a job out of it. Because right now, jobs are just not easy to get. It's not even easy to um, get now because of COVID. It really isn't. I don't even want to go get a job. I just like doing this because of COVID. It gives me some form of a job, but once this whole thing is over, I do hope I reach out. I do hope I get a job somewhat and do it.
Yeah. So do you think everybody should go and get a YouTube and do live stream and write stories?
Whatever floats your boat. I think people should do whatever they love doing and try to make a living out of it.
True.
I wouldn't say go on YouTube and do it now, but or just do whatever makes you happy. I have I had a previous interview where there was a mom who has bipolar disorder, um, who just makes a living, I think, or a side living out of her blogging, her blog. Um, so it's really, I think do anything you want to do as long as it's not toxic or as long as it's not cyberbullying, as long as it's not something, you know, trading drugs or I don't know, something illegal. I would just do what you love and try to make a living out of it.
Yeah.
Even if it's hard during this pandemic, it's really, uh, there's so much you could do on social media to get out.
Yeah, very cool. Cool stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So now what?
Okay, I guess we're done. I'll post your video and links down in the description once this video is uploaded. Um, I'll do. I'll post it once it's over, or once it's uplinked, because sometimes these streams take minutes, hours, days. It just, I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm glad I'm working on doing this because this does help me cope with my socializing. Gives me someone to talk to during this whole pandemic because it's like you don't know who to talk to. You're closed from the world. What else are you gonna do?
Yeah. No, it's awesome. And you're doing a great job.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Bye.
Okay, bye. Talk to you later.
Bye.